Okay guys, I'm back, and this is going to be something totally new for me too, so we'll see what happens. What I have here is a 30 by 30 canvas. I have a big cup of black acrylic paint, which I will be doing the background with. There's no silicone in this, so I'm just pouring it on. And I will use my big palette knife to smoothly put this on the canvas. Here we go. So when you do this, it's a good thing to have something that can make sure that your base is totally flat. I think that will help for the chain to leave its mark. So here we go. I'm not going to do the sides though, because this is just experimenting. That's why I only made really bright colors, so that you can really see how this works. And remember, I haven't done this before, so you never know how this might work. Okay, so we have the base, the whole canvas covered. If need be, if it's pretty, I can always do the sides with black. Now, what I was thinking is, I see a lot of people do this, but they do it with one color. So what I was thinking is, I want to do a couple of colors. So I have my chain laying down here, and I have two sorts of chains, because I want to see how much difference there is. So I'm putting on the green first. And let it soak right between those little chains. Then I'm going to put on the yellow. Yeah, this takes a bit to let it soak in between those, I don't know how you call them, rings. So there it goes, a little bit of orange. And I want to pick it up carefully, because I want to put the other chain in here when I'm finished. So let's put that one aside a little bit, not get it dirty. Okay, here we go. I think that's about enough. So we have the whole chain soaking in paint, as you can see, helping it along a little bit. And now I'm going to put it on the painting in a sort of a manner like this, and then we're going to pull it down. There you go. So that's number one. It's pretty. I'm going to torch it, because I did put silicone in the colors. So there we have a little bit of cell action. That's kind of cute. I'll give it to you without the lights in it. So that's kind of nice, right? I'll torch it here a little bit more, because I think it needs a little bit more cells. Let's see. Yeah, that works nicely. There you go. Maybe a little bit there. Okay. So that's number one. Now I have some drips coming down here, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now I have another chain. This one is a little bit bigger, as you can see. And I'm going to put that in also. Put it in the paint. And wiggle it about that the paint gets in those little rings. And you do have to give it a little bit of time, and where you see that the paint isn't really in the rings, you add a little bit more. And here we have some of the orange. So take your time doing this, because this is the paint that's going to be floating on top of the black, right? The consistency of this paint is exactly the same as when I do my pouring, so it's the same thickness, and that's very important because it has to be able to, you know, sort of be pulled away from those little rings that you have, so that the paint will be left behind. That's why it makes those really beautiful flowery impressions. Okay, I think I have enough paint. Oh, maybe a little bit there. Okay. Now we're going to put that one on too. And I might even pull it straight through the other ones. Like this. And there we go. That's a kind of a wild bouquet of flowers going on. Now you can overdo this. You can do a lot more on top of this if you like. But wait a minute, this needs a little bit of torching too, the green. You can do a lot more if you like the whole movement. But what you can also do is stop and think, okay, these are my flowers. So take a palette knife. And I'm going to drop a little bit of green on here. And I'm going to pull that up just slightly. Where's my fluffy thing? Make sure every time you want to swipe through a color that it is clean. There it is. And we'll do that again with a little bit more paint because I want it to go up a little bit. So what we're trying to achieve is some sort of a idea of leaves coming off the flowers. And of course they all have the little cells going on. There's a little bit of a stem that I think looks like a stem. Then I'm going to put this same thing over here on this side. Maybe a little bigger because this flower is a little bit bigger. And sometimes you have to make sure you don't push the paint too much under the black. If that happens, you just come back in with a little bit of green. And you can just start straight over. See that? Ooh, that seals up nicely. That's nice. And if you don't like it, if you think that's too broad, what I think, you can always make it go down a little sharper, resembling one of those stems off of the leaves. Now, if this is what you like, you leave it exactly like this, and that's your basic chain pour. I really like it. I like how it's pushing the colors into each other. I like how it sort of leaves an impression of petals. That's kind of nice. And what I've used, I'll put this away for now because I don't want to get it dripped on, because I'm going to show you the chains. So that's it. Some weird sort of looking, I don't know, prehistoric flowers. That's something that comes to mind. But that is kind of nice. I like it. Now, what I can do is do one on paper, see if that works too. So we're putting a little base down there. This time I'm using my smaller palette knife. Just a small one to even out that paint. Because you do want a base that it's going to slide on. That is important. Otherwise the whole thing won't work. There you go. And up here, everything black. There it is. Here's maybe a little, we could use a little up here. Okay. Now that is black. Then we get a piece of chain that isn't been dipped into this paint. Let's see, let's just do a little one. Nah, let's do a big one. Who cares? We're gonna put it in here. There's some black in there, but I'm just sort of tapping it that it gets into those little circles. Now this time I'm going to do a really long one. As you can see. And now I'm going to hold it down and pull it down. Ooh, that's kind of fun. So even if you don't want to use a canvas to do this, a piece of paper will work fine. There it is. See that? That is pretty. I think you could do a lot of things with that. You could do some, make some greeting cards, something fun. And of course you can use different colors. If you were to use a white background with a lot of blues, I think you could create something like waves on top, and you can go each way you want. You know, just let your imagination run, and I'm sure you're going to get something that you really, really like. So I'm just adding a couple of little leaves. Oops, that's a little bit too heavy. There it is from close up. And you can let it run down if you like, because there's enough paint on there to let it run down. Kind of pretty. So that's another thing what we've done. If you have another idea, let me know what you think. I know a lot of people do this with thread or like a cotton or something that you knit with, but the chains sort of leave those nice sort of strokes. It's sort of like there's been, I don't know, teeth, like a comb went through it, something like that. And that's because of those little rings that pick up the paint and drop it off when you pull down that chain. So you can experiment. You could do it with chains, you can do it with thread, or you can do it with cotton. Anything you really would like to do. Don't be afraid to try something different. You don't always have to do things that you see on the internet. Maybe you can come up with something that works much better. Let me know, and I'll be happy to try it. And this is it. So let me put this away. And I just want to do one swipe. This is kind of cool too, what I did here, but can't really see that. But I'd like to just use a little bit of the black because I normally don't use these colors. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of green, and a little bit of orange. And let them all go together. Then I'm going to push them up and pull them down. Just to see what you get with these color combinations. It's kind of cool. Well, it is something different because I normally never use this. The yellow did disappear a little bit, which I really expected to stay. That's a little selection. We'll keep this one. Never know. Okay guys, this is it for today. I'm gonna put all these videos on YouTube. I'm gonna do a little cleanup, and tomorrow I will be pouring again, and that will be a little bit earlier in the day, and I will see you. I'm looking forward to it. So I'll see that tomorrow, and I'm gonna say love you all to pieces. Liebe euch alle. Hou voor jullie allemaal. See you in the next video.